Deep within a forest that shimmered with the soft glow of twinkling flowers and floating lights, a tiny flame-like bird hatched from its nest. Its feathers were a brilliant mix of fiery orange, gold, and crimson, and as soon as it stretched its little wings, sparks danced around it like tiny stars. This was no ordinary bird, it was the Firebird, a magical creature whose glow seemed to brighten even the darkest corners of the enchanted forest. The moment it blinked its bright eyes, the trees leaned slightly closer. As if curious to see this little bundle of light, the Firebird chirped a joyful tune, and the notes floated through the air, making the flowers sway as though they were dancing. Nearby, in the shadows of the soft moonlight, a small wolf pup with silvery gray fur and curious eyes peeked out from behind a moss-covered rock. Her name was Luna. She had always been timid and shy, wary of the forest's many mysteries, but something about the sparkling bird made her heart flutter with curiosity. She patted softly, careful not to make a sound, following the trail of golden sparks as they drifted through the air. The forest was alive with gentle magic. Tiny glowing forest spirits peeked out from behind twisted roots and fluttering leaves. They looked like tiny fireflies with smiling faces, and they loved to play harmless tricks on travelers. The spirits noticed Luna trailing the Firebird and giggled, sending little bursts of sparkling dust toward the pup. Luna sneezed, startled, and the Firebird chirped in delight, its feathers glowing brighter in amusement. It hopped from branch to branch, guiding Luna deeper into the heart of the forest. While the spirits danced around, weaving playful patterns in the air, the Firebird and Luna soon came across a sparkling stream, its waters glimmering with hints of rainbow colors that shimmered as the light touched them. The Firebird dipped a tiny wing into the water, sending tiny waves that reflected its fiery glow, while Luna dipped a paw in carefully, watching the ripples with wide, amazed eyes. The two of them looked at each other and giggled, a new friendship forming between them. Luna had never met anyone or anything so bright and full of joy, and the Firebird had never known a companion who was so gently curious and cautious. Together they made a small but perfect team, balancing fire and shadow, light and cautiousness. As they wandered, the forest seemed to notice their harmony. Trees bent slightly to form cozy archways, mushrooms glowed softly along the path, and the air carried the faint scent of sweet nectar and warm earth. The Firebird's song grew more melodious, each note weaving magic that made the leaves shimmer and the water sparkle more brightly. Luna followed the song eagerly, her paws light on the mossy floor, feeling braver with every step. For a moment, the shy wolf pup felt that she could trust the forest, trust the light, and even trust herself. The little sparks from the Firebird's feathers tickled her nose playfully, and she laughed, a soft, happy sound that echoed through the trees like tiny bells. Suddenly, they came to a small glade bathed in moonlight. Here, the forest spirits had prepared a playful challenge. Glittering vines stretched across the open space, forming a gentle obstacle course, and glowing stones hovered just above the ground, inviting careful steps and daring leaps. Luna hesitated, unsure if she should attempt the tricky path. The Firebird fluttered up to her side and chirped softly, tilting its head as if to say, "I'll be with you." Luna took a deep breath, her paws trembling slightly, but she followed the Firebird, stepping carefully over the glowing stones and ducking under the sparkling vines. Every step she took was guided by trust, not just in the Firebird but in herself. The forest spirits giggled and clapped, their tiny glowing hands waving in encouragement, and Luna felt a thrill of pride ripple through her small frame once they passed the challenge. The Firebird led Luna to a grove where the flowers glowed brighter than anywhere else in the forest. Their petals shimmered like liquid light, and a gentle mist swirled around the roots, creating tiny rainbows in the air. Here, the Firebird perched on a low branch and began to sing a melody so sweet that it seemed to fill the entire forest with warmth. Luna sat nearby, her tail curling around her paws, listening intently. The melody carried a message of courage, of friendship, and of joy, the kind that made even the oldest tree lean closer to hear better. For the first time, Luna felt her shyness melt away, replaced with the sparkling feeling of excitement and wonder. She realized that sometimes the bravest thing was simply following a friend and trusting the light. Even when the path was new and a little scary, as night deepened, the Firebird's glow became even warmer, illuminating the faces of the forest spirits who now gathered around to watch. They floated near the tips of flowers, peeking curiously at Luna and the Firebird. The tiny Wolfpup noticed how the sparks of the Firebird mirrored the lights of the spirits, and she giggled again. The Firebird noticed Luna's laughter and chirped a happy note that made the mist swirl in little glowing spirals. It was a magical dance of light and sound, friendship and play, and the forest itself seemed to hum along in approval. Even the oldest rocks and tallest trees seemed to lean in, their ancient bark reflecting the tiny sparks, as if the forest wanted to be part of their joyful adventure before they knew it. A soft breeze carried a new, distant melody toward them. It was faint, almost like a whisper from far away, and it beckoned them forward. The Firebird's wings fluttered with excitement, sending sparks dancing higher into the air. Luna's ears perked up, and she felt a rush of curiosity she had never known before. Together, they prepared to follow the mysterious song, knowing that their journey had only just begun. The forest, alive with gentle magic, twinkling lights, and the quiet giggles of playful spirits, seemed to wish them well on the path ahead. Luna realized with a warm heart that sometimes the most magical moments come when you dare to step into the unknown, and sometimes the bravest heart is the one that opens itself to friendship. And so, under the soft glow of the enchanted forest, the Firebird and Luna set off together toward the next adventure, leaving behind a trail of light, laughter, and the sparkling promise of magic yet to come. Each step, each flutter of feathers, and each soft paw print seemed to hum with the simple truth that courage, curiosity, and friendship could make even the deepest forest feel like home. The Firebird and Luna padded carefully along a winding path bathed in the soft glow of moonlight and twinkling fairy dust. The forest around them seemed to hum with anticipation, as if the trees themselves were whispering secrets of the adventure ahead. Each step Luna took was lighter than the last, her paws barely touching the mossy ground. She had grown braver since meeting the Firebird, and now, with every flutter of fiery feathers above her, she felt a bubbling excitement in her heart. The distant melody that had guided them earlier now grew stronger, sweeter, and filled the air with a gentle magic that tickled their senses. After a while, the duo emerged from the forest into a wide, sparkling meadow. The meadow was unlike anything Luna had ever seen. Flowers with petals of every imaginable color swayed as though dancing to an unseen tune. Tiny glowing butterflies flitted around, leaving trails of sparkling light in their wake. A soft mist rose from the earth, forming little rainbow arcs that glimmered in the moonlight. At the center of the meadow was a small waterfall that shimmered like liquid silver, sending tiny droplets into the air that caught the Firebird's glow and scattered it like golden confetti. Luna's eyes widened in awe, and the Firebird chirped joyfully, spinning in midair and letting sparks scatter across the meadow like firework embers. Perched nearby on a smooth stone was a magnificent deer with soft golden antlers that glowed gently under the moonlight. Its eyes were wise and warm, and when it spoke, its voice sounded like a lullaby carried on the wind. "Welcome, little travelers," the deer said, bowing its head politely. "I am the Meadow Guardian. I have watched your journey from afar, and I see courage and friendship in both of you." Luna stepped forward cautiously, bowing her head while the Firebird perched proudly on a glowing flower. Its feathers flickering with excitement, the Meadow Guardian gestured toward the meadow. "This place is alive with magic, but it needs your help. The flowers here bloom brighter when hearts are kind and gifts are shared. Will you help me?" Luna tilted her head, unsure what she could do, but the Firebird chirped encouragingly. "I think we can try," Luna exclaimed, and together they moved toward the nearest patch of glowing flowers. The Firebird flapped its tiny wings, and sparks drifted down like warm sunlight, touching the flowers and causing them to bloom even brighter. Luna gently nudged the wilting blossoms with her nose, and to her delight they seemed to perk up, their petals stretching and shimmering with renewed life. as they worked together. Luna noticed other wolves approaching from the edge of the meadow. At first, she felt a flicker of nervousness. Wolves could be cautious, even grumpy, when strangers approached. But the Firebird glowed warmly, and the meadow itself seemed to hum reassurance. The wolves drew closer, their eyes curious rather than fierce, and slowly they began to playfully circle around Luna and the Firebird. Little puffs of laughter escaped from the wolf pups, and Luna felt a happy warmth in her chest. The meadow seemed to sparkle even brighter as more creatures joined in. Sensing the harmony between the glowing bird, the brave little pup, and the magical landscape, the Firebird chirped a joyful tune, and the melody spread through the meadow like a gentle wind. The butterflies twirled in intricate patterns, the flowers swayed in rhythm, and even the waterfall seemed to shimmer in time with the music. Luna couldn't help but dance, her paws tapping lightly on the soft grass. The wolves followed suit, leaping and twirling, their movements playful and full of joy. The meadow guardian watched, a gentle smile lighting up its face, as the magic of friendship and kindness wove through the meadow like invisible threads. At one point, a small patch of flowers had wilted too much to bloom on their own. Luna hesitated, unsure if her tiny paws could make a difference. The Firebird perched next to her, brushing her gently with a glowing wing. "We can do this together," the bird seemed to say. Luna took a deep breath, nudged the flowers carefully, and the Firebird flared its feathers, sending gentle sparks to warm and heal them. Slowly, the flowers began to lift their petals, a soft golden glow returning to each one. Luna giggled with delight, and even the wolf pups barked in approval, their tiny tails wagging excitedly. In that moment, Luna realized that helping others, no matter how small, created a kind of magic stronger than any she had ever imagined. The Firebird led Luna to a sparkling pond at the edge of the meadow. The water reflected the glowing feathers perfectly, turning the surface into a mirror of fiery light and soft moonbeams. Luna leaned closer to watch, and the Firebird twirled above the pond, sending gentle sparks that danced on the water. The reflection made Luna giggle. She saw the two of them together, side by side, glowing and playful, a picture of friendship in motion. The meadow guardian approached, nudging a glowing pebble into the water. "See," it said softly, "when hearts shine together, the world reflects it back. Your courage, your joy, your kindness, it makes everything brighter." Suddenly, the forest spirits from the Firebird's first adventure appeared, fluttering and giggling. They hovered over the pond, dropping tiny sparkles and weaving playful trails through the air. They created a gentle swirl above Luna and the Firebird, forming shapes of stars, moons, and tiny hearts. Luna twirled under the shimmering light, feeling the pure happiness of the moment. The Firebird chirped joyfully, spinning and letting sparks fall like a tiny golden rain. The meadow seemed to hum a lullaby, a soft and magical song that wrapped around everyone in warmth and wonder. Time passed quietly, filled with laughter and magic. The wolf pups played tag, chasing glowing butterflies while Luna ran beside them, her fears forgotten. The Firebird flitted from flower to flower, its feathers spreading light wherever it touched. Even the meadow guardian joined in subtly, glowing antlers creating soft patterns on the ground. The entire meadow felt alive with joy, magic, and harmony. It was a place where bravery, kindness, and friendship intertwined like the vines and blossoms that decorated the land. Every creature, big or small, felt the warmth of togetherness. And Luna realized that courage was not just about facing danger. It was about opening your heart to others and letting light guide the way. As the night deepened, the Firebird perched atop a high glowing flower, and Luna sat at its base, gazing at the stars above. The meadow guardian approached one last time, bowing gently. "You have done well, little travelers," it said. "The magic of this meadow will shine brighter because of you, and your friendship will light the paths of many who follow." Luna yipped softly, leaning against the glowing bird. The Firebird chirped a final, cheerful note, sparks drifting into the moonlit sky like tiny shooting stars. The meadow shimmered, reflecting the glow of courage, joy, and kindness. A reminder that even the smallest creatures could make the biggest difference when they worked together, Before heading back toward the forest, Luna paused to look at the pond again. She saw the reflections of herself, the firebird and the wolves all glowing softly in the magical light. She realized that her heart had grown braver, brighter, and more open. She had learned that sharing your gifts, helping others, and trusting a friend could create real magic in the world. The firebird flared its wings one last time, sending sparks twirling in every direction, and Luna laughed, feeling a happiness so warm it could melt the night's chill. The enchanted meadow, filled with magical flowers, sparkling butterflies, and gentle mist, had become a place of memories, courage, and the most magical kind of friendship, with hearts full of joy. The firebird and Luna looked at each other, knowing that their adventure had changed them forever. The night air carried a soft, twinkling melody, a lullaby for the forest, a promise that magic and kindness would always find a way. As they bounded and fluttered toward new paths, they left trails of light, laughter, and warmth behind, a reminder to the entire forest that even the smallest sparks, when shared with courage and friendship, could create a world filled with wonder. And somewhere, under the silver moon and sparkling stars, the meadow hummed softly, echoing the gentle, joyful truth: the greatest magic comes from the heart. And the most beautiful journeys are those taken together.